Hello, welcome to the day 23 of Advent of Cyber. Let's dive into the storyline and see what we have for today and how can we play a role with the elves to save the Sock Mars, which is just there in 2 more days. So let's dive into the story and see what we can do. One of our stealthiest infiltrated elf managed to hop their way into Sir Carrotben's office and lo and behold, discovered a bundle of cloud credentials just lying around on his desktop like forgotten carrots. The agent suspected these could be the key to regain access to Best Festive Company's cloud network. If only the poor hare had the faintest clue what the cloud is, and he would borrow himself. Let's help him, Elf, utilize these credentials to try regain access to the Best Festive Company's cloud network. Learning objectives: learn basics about AWS accounts, enumerate and privilege grant to an account from an attacker's perspective, familiarize yourself with AWS command line interface. So the lab connection, do I need to start a VM today, and is there a split screen available? So let's click on start machine, and AWS accounts can be accessed programmatically by using access key ID and secret access key. For this room, both those will be automatically configured for you. The AWS command line interface will look for credentials at .aws credentials, where you should see something similar to the following. So I guess for that we'll have to wait for the machine to boot up. Let's continue reading, and hopefully once the machine boots up, we can come back to this step. Amazon Security Token Service allows you to utilize the credentials of a user that we have saved during the AWS CLI configuration. We can use the get caller identity call to retrieve information about the user we have configured for the AWS CLI. Let's run the following command. So AWS STS get caller ID. We will see following output when we run the command. So we should get the user ID, account, and ARN, which is I have no idea about. So we should get some information like that. Okay. Seeing the output, the elf was overjoyed. The credentials work, and as can be seen by the name at the end, they belong to Sir Carrot Bane. The elf can now attempt to regain access to the Best Festive Company's cloud network using these credentials. Run AWS STS get caller identity. What is the number shown for the account parameter? Okay, I guess for that, let's open the terminal at the same time that has even booted up. So that's a good thing. Let's run the command AWS STS get caller hyphen identity, pressing enter. It says setting up cloud lab, please try running this command in 30 seconds. Okay, so we'll have to wait for a couple of seconds. Let's do it. Let's wait for 30 more seconds and then run this command once again. Okay, finally we get the account ID there. So let's type that account number, which is 1234567809112. It is wrong. So 1234567899012. Okay, now it's right. Now let's go to the next section here. It says I am overview. It's actually not I am overview. It is it's something related to identity something. It's but yeah. Amazon Web Service utilizes the identity and access management. Yeah, a service to manage users and their access to various resources, including the action that can be performed against those resources. Therefore, it is crucial to ensure that the correct access is assigned to each user according to the requirements. Misconfiguring IAM has led to several high profile security incidents in the past, giving attackers access to resources they were not supposed to access. Companies like Toyota, Accenture, and Wilson have been victims of such attacks in the past, often exposing customer data or sensitive documents. Below, we will discuss the different aspects of IAM that can lead to sensitive data exposure if misconfigured. IAM users. A user represents a single identity in AWS. Each user has a set of credentials, such as passwords or access keys, that can be used to access resources. Furthermore, permissions can be granted at a user level, defining the level of access a user might have. IAM groups, multiple users can be combined into a group. This can be done to ease the access management for multiple users. For example, in an organization employing hundreds of thousands of people, there might be a handful of people who need write access to certain database. Instead of granting access to each user individually, the admin can grant access to a group and all users who require write access to that group. When a user no longer needs access, they can be removed from the group. IAM roles. IAM roles is a temporary identity that can be assumed by a user as well as by service or external account. To get certain permissions, think of Sir Carrotban and how, depending upon the battle ahead, he might need to assume the role of an attacker or a defender. When becoming an attacker, he will get permissions to wide his shiny swords, but when assuming the role of a defender, he will instead get a permission to carry a shield to better defend King Malhare. IAM policies. Access provided to any user, group, or role is controlled through IAM policies. A policy in a JSON document that defines the following: what action is allowed, on which resource, under which conditions, for whom. Consider the following hypothetical policy. So they have given SID, the user's ID number, affect allow, principal AWS something, action get object, resource. Again, I don't know anything about AWS, so I'm just reading through it. This policy grants access to AWS user alias principal to get an object from S3 bucket, action for S3 bucket named my private bucket resource. Okay. What I am component is used to describe the permission to be assigned to user or a group. Policy. Yep, that's right. Next, enumerating users. All right, let's see what we can do with credentials we got from Sir Carrotban's office. Since we have already configured them in our environment, we can start interacting with the AWS CLI to find more information. Let's begin enumerating users. We can do it by running the following command in the terminal: AWS IAM list users. Okay, now let's make the screen quite of half and then increase the size here, reduce the screen size there. Now here let's run the command AWS IAM list users. It says error argument command found in choice. Sorry, it's IAM. Now that should be okay. Yes, so we get a list of users. One is Sir Carrotban and user ID ARN and create date is there. Okay, so there is only one user there, I guess. We will see an output that lists all the users as well as some other useful information such as their creation date. Yes, we can see the creation date right there. Enumerating user policies. Policies can be inline or attached. Inline policies are assigned directly in the user or group or role profile and hence will be deleted if the identity is deleted. These can be considered as hard-coded policies as they are hard-coded in the identity definition. Attached policies, also called as managed policies, can be considered reusable. An attached policy requires only one change in the policy and every identity that policy is attached to will inherit that change automatically. Let's see what inline policies are assigned to Sir Carrotban by running the following command: AWS IAM list user policies hyphen username sir dot carrot pane. Now policy, yes, that seems to be right. Hopefully there is no error. Okay, so there's a policy name called as carrot bane policy. Great, we can see an inline policy in the result. Let's take a note of this name for later. Okay, so let's copy this and coming to the clipboard here, let's take a copy of that into the notepad and replace it here. Let's keep it just for in case we want to use it later. So maybe Sir Carrot Ben has some policies attached to their account. We can find out by running the following command. Now let's run that command. AWS I am list attached hyphen user policies hyphen username Sir Carrot pane. Let's see what are the attached user policies, and there is no attached policies. Okay. Not much here. Perhaps we can check if Sir Carrotban is a part of a group. Let's run the command to do that. So AWS I am list groups for hyphen user hyphen name Sir Carrot pane. Okay. Are we part of any group? Again, it says error here. It says with username. Is it there? Yep. A username. And it's part of no group also. Looks like Sir Carrotban is not part of any group. Let's get back to the inline policy we found for Sir Carrotban's account. Let's see what permissions this policy grants by running the following command. Replace policy name with the actual policy name you found. Okay, let's run that command. So AWS I am get user policy hyphen policy hyphen name, and in here let's copy this, paste it there, hyphen user hyphen name sir dot carrot pane. Okay, so we see the policy details of carrot pane. Okay, and I guess they are the same thing. It has a list of actions. It says list users. I guess these are the possible actions which is allowed for Carrot Bane, which is to list the users, groups, roles, and all those things. Okay, that's fine. So it looks like Sir Carrot Bane has access to enumerate all different kinds of users, groups, roles, and policies. But that is about it. That is not a lot of help getting the best festive companies access back. We might need to try something different to do that. If you look carefully, you will notice Sir Carrot Bane can perform ST assume role action. Maybe there is still hope. I don't know what that means. So I guess it's like assuming our own role. Anyway, so what is the name of the policy assigned to Sir Carrot Bane? Let's paste in the role that we had copied, or that policy we had copied, then paste it in there. Let's move to the next task. Enumerating roles. The ST assume role action we previously found allows Sir Carrot Bane to assume roles. Perhaps we can try to see if there's any interesting ones available. Let's start by listing the existing roles in the account. So we can run the command AWS I am list roles. So with this, we get a list of roles that is assigned to Sir Carrot Bane, and it says path, role name, role ID. Oh no, these are the ones which are assigned. Yeah, these are assigned. So there's one called as bucket master, which is assigned, and the statement is okay. It says action again, something assume role, effect allow principal AWS. That's all fine. Okay. So let's move ahead. It says bingo, there's a role name bucket master and it can be assumed by Sir Carrot Bane. Let's find out what policies are assigned to this role. Just as a user, roles can have inline policies and attached policies. To check inline policies, we can run the following command. Let's run that command. AWS I am list role policies hyphen role hyphen name bucket master. Pressing enter, that gives something called as bucket master policy. So that's a separate policy for it. There is one policy assigned to this role. Before checking that policy, let's see if there are any attached policies assigned to the role as well. So to run that, we can run the command AWS I am list attached hyphen role hyphen policies hyphen role hyphen name bucket master. Pressing enter, Do we see any attached policies? So there is no attached policies for this role. So we just have one policy there. Looks like we will only have the inline policies assigned. Let's see what permissions can get from the policy. So AWS, I am get role hyphen role policy hyphen role name bucket master hyphen policy hyphen name bucket master policy. Pressing enter. Yes, we get the results back. So these are the contents of the policy which is there for the bucket policy. So bucket master policy. Well, again, I don't understand what this is. So let's continue reading itself. It says, well, what do we have here? We can see the bucket master role can perform three different actions: list all buckets, list buckets, and get object on some resources of the service named S3. This might just be the breakthrough we were looking for. More on the service later. Assuming role. To gain privileges assigned to the bucket master role, we need to assume it. We can use AWS SGS to obtain the temporary credentials that enable us to assume this role. So we'll run that command here. It says AWS STS assume hyphen role hyphen role hyphen ARN colon AWS colon I am colon 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 1 2. Then role bucket master role to hyphen session hyphen name tbfc. Let's see what does that do. It says error a role ARN. So I guess that is some typo in it. Hopefully now there's no error. Okay, so credentials access ID is this, secret access key is this, session token is all these things. Okay, again, we don't understand anything. So the output will provide us the credentials we need to assume this role, specifically the access key. Okay, so access key ID is the one which we mainly need to keep in our list. We also get secret access key and session token. To be able to use these, run the following commands in the terminal, replacing with the exact credentials you received on running the assume role command. So we need to run export AWS underscore access underscore key underscore ID is equal to, and then our access key here. Let's copy that, paste it in there. I hope there is no typo because I usually do that. So I just want to make sure there's no typo. Let's press enter. Okay, now export AWS underscore secret underscore access underscore key is equal to, then this is the secret access key. Let's copy paste it here, pressing enter. Next, export AWS underscore session underscore token is equal to, then this is the session token of the policy which we are assuming. So let's copy paste it there, press enter, and okay, I guess this should be it. So once we have done that, we can officially use the permissions granted by the bucket master role. To check if you have the correct assumed role, you can once again run AWS STS get caller hyphen identity, and hopefully we should be having that now. Yes, we get the bucket master TBF. This time this should show you now using bucket master rule. Yes, it confirms that. Apart from get object and list bucket, what other actions can be taken by assuming bucket master role? So other than assuming, what is it, get object, yes, and list bucket, we can get list all buckets. Okay, no, it is list all my buckets. Okay, this seems to be right. Done. Let's move to the next section of it. What is S3? Before we continue, we need to know what exactly S3. Amazon S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. It is an object storage service provided by Amazon Web Service that can store any type of object such as an image, document, logs, and backup files. Companies often use S3 to store data for various reasons, such as reference images for their websites, documents to be shared with client, or files used for internal services for internal processing. Any object you store in S3 will be put into a bucket. You can think of a bucket as a directory where you can store all files, but in the cloud. Now let's see what our newly gained access to Sir Caraban's S3 bucket provides us. Listing contents from the bucket. Since our profile has permission to list all buckets, we can list the available S3 bucket by running the following command. So let's run that. Say AWS S3 API list hyphen bucket, and it says error. Okay, so AWS S3P 3 API. Sorry, instead of 3 I named it of 2. So list buckets UCKETS. Okay, that seems to be right. And yes, so we have the list of buckets that we have. It says Easter Secret 123145 and Bunny website 645341. So I guess we need to do something with the Bunny website itself. So there is one interesting bucket in the reference Easter. Let's check out the content of the directory. So AWS S3 API list objects hyphen bucket Easter hyphen secret hyphen 123145. So what do we get here? So we get the contents. It says cloudpass.txt and groceries.txt. Wow. So there are two files called as cloud password and grocery.txt. Let's copy the file in this directory to our local machine. This might have a secret message. Okay, so AWS S3 API get object hyphen bucket Easter hyphen secrets hyphen 123145 hyphen key cloud underscore password dot txt. Then cloud underscore password dot txt. I guess this is the name that how we want to download it in the local computer. Let's press enter and it says accept range bytes last modified. So I assume that if I press ls I should have, yeah, we have cloud password.txt. Let's use the cat to see what we have in the cloud password.txt, and that's the flag to answer the question right there. So let's copy the flag from the clipboard and paste it right there. Click on check. Before that it says hooray, we have successfully infiltrated something. Okay. So with that, we have finished the day 23 of Advent of Cyber with AWS and AWS related operations. It was new to me. I hope I was able to give some value addition to what contents was actually there. Yeah, with that, let's meet you all on the day 24 of Advent of Cyber. Till then, stay happy, stay smiling. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.